The world has joined Kenya in mourning the untimely demise of its former Prime Minister and ODM party leader Raila Odinga. Global leaders have eulogized the late Prime Minister as a towering beacon of democracy and the example of selflessness, terming him a leader who has put his country above personal ambitions. And as Mary Mwoki now details, the former Prime Minister has been termed as a champion of democracy and social justice, not just in Kenya, but with footprints across the continent.
The world is mourning a fallen giant of democracy and good governance, a man who for decades stood at the heart of Kenyan politics, forging alliances, breaking coalitions and reconciling with former foes. There was no rivalry too deep, no wedge too big that Raila Amolo Odinga could not mend if the country's stability demanded it. The U.S. Embassy in Nairobi has eulogized Raila as a champion of Kenya's development and success as a country. His longtime friend, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, says he was a towering statesman and a cherished friend of India. I had the privilege of knowing him closely since my days as Chief Minister of Gujarat, and our association continued over the years. He had a special affection for India, our culture, values and ancient wisdom. This was reflected in his efforts to strengthen Kenya-India ties. Tanzania President eulogized him by saying, "We have lost a brilliant leader, a global African, a peace-loving and solution seeker whose influence and love were not only in Kenya, but in East Africa and Africa at large. This tragedy is not just for Kenya, but for all of us." Somali President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud also paid tributes to Odinga, terming him a towering statesman whose legacy of democracy, justice and public service will endure. Somalia stands in solidarity with Kenya in this moment of grief. The AU chairman Mahmoud Ali Yusuf eulogized the former Prime Minister, saying, "Raila Odinga was a towering figure in Kenya's political life and a steadfast champion of democracy, good governance and people-centered development. His decades-long commitment to justice, pluralism and democratic reform left an indelible mark not only on Kenya, but across the African continent." In Ethiopia, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed Ali extended condolences on behalf of his government, calling Odinga a patriot and a leader whose contributions to democracy will be remembered across Africa. Dr. Wakne Gebeyehu, Executive Secretary of the Intergovernmental Authority on Development, IGAD, described Odinga as one of Africa's most iconic sons, whose lifelong education to justice and unity inspired generations. From Zambia, President Hakainde Hichilema hailed Odinga as a towering advocate for democracy, saying his legacy will endure long after his passing. Djibouti's President Ismail Omar Guelleh also paid tribute, calling Odinga a visionary leader whose voice for justice resonated far beyond his homeland. Mary Mwoki, Citizen TV.